Great morning, everyone. How are you all doing? I hope you all are off to a good start today. Thank you so much for joining us last night on Marriage Mondays with the Kings when we were speaking about marriage when my spouse is controlling me. I will let y'all know that Marriage Mondays with the Kings plays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then for all those who join us from across the water, from around the world, overseas, I know you've contacted us, and I will let you know that the radio show owner did say that not only does our show play at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, it also plays at midnight Central Standard Time. So for those of you who are in Germany, you're about 8-9 hours ahead of us, if I remember correctly, depending on where you are. Know that if it's 12 midnight here, then it's like 8 o'clock in the morning there or whatever, and you can still listen to Marriage Mondays with the Kings because it airs twice on KRGN 98.5 FM. So thank you for joining us last night. Good morning, Simone, and good morning, Natasha. Help me, Lord. Now, this is the one, you know, I usually try to give a disclaimer and say that pretty much some feelings might get hurt because some truth is going to get told. Okay. This, just thinking about it, it just makes my blood boil. I cannot stand when people have the nerve to say this out their mouth when it comes to marriage. And the crazy thing about it is I heard this just this weekend and my blood instantly started to boil. I was so upset. Let me tell y'all something. And I'm just going to be straight and direct and to the point. If you're married, husband and wife. Now, for those of you who do not know, me and my husband do a lot of things. We also have our own business and things like that. You got people on here that's got their own businesses. I'm very proud of you. Know that. But when you are coming in business, and especially when you're partnering up with someone, if someone says this terminology, I'm going to need you not to partner up with them because they're thinking about themselves and they're not really thinking about the benefit of you. They can say they're thinking about the benefit of you, but they're not. So say, I'm going to use for an example that you join a business and it's a mid-level marketing business. Okay. For those of you all who don't know what that is, it's one of those type of businesses where you join and then people join under you and you got to recruit people and whatever the case may be, but any type of business venture. And so say it costs $75 to join this business and you're excited about it. I'm going to speak from a wife's perspective. I'm excited. I'm like, oh man, this could be something that can, yeah, I like that. Because for me personally, why I do it, I love the tax write-offs. Okay. Y'all know I like to save my coins. Okay. So anywho, say you're signing up with someone and it's $75 and you got the money. That's not an issue. But you're like, you know what? Let me talk this over with my husband. Now, God gave me a great revelation last night when it come to this. And say the individual say, what do you mean talk it over with your husband? You don't need to talk nothing over with your husband. Do you talk it over with your husband when you go to dealers and spend $75 on them shoes when they're having a sale? Do you talk it over with your husband when you go into Walmart and you meant to spend $10 but you end up spending $125? And then if they say, no, I don't do that. Well, you don't need to talk it over with your husband when it comes to this business venture. Let me tell you this. If somebody tell you that, I'm going to need you to walk smooth away from that, because anybody who tells you anything that can potentially come against or divide you and your husband or your wife, that's some shady dealings. You don't need to have nothing to do with them because they'll tell you how it can benefit you, but then they'll turn around and tell you that, oh no, you don't need to talk to your husband, or sir, you don't really need to talk to your wife because you be spending that kind of money anyway. Let me catch my mouth because it's going faster than my head. So I got to rail it back. No, I'm going to need you not to deal with them people. I'm going to tell you straight up. The first time I heard this was probably about maybe 8 years ago, 6 years ago. And I heard a lady who was in mid-level marketing tell this lady this, and it burned me up. It did not sit right with me then, because why would you tell somebody don't worry about what their husband got to say or how they feel or whatever, because you know that business and what you're going to jump into is going to require more than your $75 that it took for you to sign up. It's going to require your time. Some of them require inventory, and some of it it require you adjusting your schedule that you have with your husband and your family. So why would you So I'm telling you right now, right now, a word of advice. If somebody tell you this, I need you to move around, because you have people that will tell you slick and sly things, and trust and believe it's for the benefit of them. They just trying to make a sale or get somebody additional on their team or get an additional partner, whatever. They ain't too much studying you, because somebody who was really studying you, what they would tell you in your marriage, they really respect it. Let me go ahead and say that. They put some respect on your marriage. Somebody who really respect the unity of marriage would never tell you not to talk to your spouse about something, especially when it have to do with y'all's money. Now let me go ahead and go here. We know how we are. Don't play with our husband. Don't play with our wife, don't play with our kids, and don't play with our money. So if you don't like anybody playing with your money, why would you sit up here and tell somebody else that they don't have to talk to their spouse, where the word of God says the two of them become one, but you telling them they ain't got to talk to their spouse concerning income that's going to be coming out of their mouth? Okay, the devil is a lie. Now let me go ahead and break down this great revelation, because some people that does this, if you do this, I'm going to need you to stop. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, that is not of God, okay? As I was pondering on this all night, God gave me some things that he brought back to my remembrance. So if you do this, I need you to go ahead and cut it out with your selfish self, okay? I'm just going to leave it like that. You straight up selfish. Don't you ever in your life again tell, Mama Shan that came out, don't you ever in your life again tell anybody anything that's going to be divisive against their marriage. So say you tell this young lady this, because remember, I'm speaking from a wife's point of view. So say you tell this young lady this, right? And she like, yeah, you right. I'm going to go ahead and sign up. I'm going to go into business with you, under you, whatever the case may be. I'm going to go take $1,000 out of our account so we can open up this joint endeavor and everything. You tell her this. Now, see, this is the thing. You don't know how their coins is set up in their house. So I don't care if they do go to Walmart, if they go to Dillard's or wherever they go to shop, to Goodwill or whatever, and they spend more money than they usually spend. What you should not do is tell them what to do, because say you tell this young lady what to do, right? And she's married. Say she goes home and she's all excited because she done signed up for this business venture or whatever the case may be, and say her husband's an abuser, and say her husband put his hands on her and he beat her, because it's money coming out of her pocket, or because he's upset that she did not discuss this important decision with him. So you all happy because you got what you wanted out of the deal, but you done got this young lady beat, or vice versa. Say the husband come home and the wife straight up cut him. God forbid. You know, I don't want no beatings and no cuttings. But you don't know what a person's home life is. So why would you try to talk them into doing something for your own personal gain, in which it will further hinder their marriage? Now, let me go ahead and bring it around to what God gave me. I'm going to tell you, if you the type of individual to do this, let me tell you what your new nickname is. Your nickname is Serpent, okay? That's what your new nickname is. And for some of y'all wondering, well, Shan, where you going? If you know a little bit about the Bible, okay, God gave, just like he gives to the husband and the wife through his word, his divine word called the Bible, God gave a specific set of instructions, directions. He gave that to Adam. Did he not? Let's take it back to Genesis. He gave that to Adam, and he told Adam, you can have anything you want except for this. Don't touch this and this. Don't touch it. You don't touch it. Your wife don't touch it, and all that. Adam was set up nice. You see what I'm saying? But you had that serpent that came along, who whispered in Eve's ear for his own gain and his own good. Oh, God don't know what he's talking about. God just don't want y'all to have the same amount of knowledge that he got. What did that what happened? What happened? That got Adam and his wife Eve kicked out of the garden. Okay? They both got kicked out. Women, we suffer labor pains, menstrual cycles, and all kind of crap because of what a serpent did. Now, I bring this back around to say this. When you set up and you tell somebody to do something that is disregarded when it comes to their marriage, that you know is not of God, because it's not sitting right in your spirit, unless you're a selfish individual and you share the spirit of the devil, is not sitting right. You do not know, not only will that affect that husband and that wife with your selfish self, that will also affect other people. That will affect their children. That will affect their extended family. So do not fix your mouth Because I heard somebody say this weekend, and I'm telling you, I was so livid. I tried my best not to go to where they are and tell them, don't come. You do not know the coin situation. You don't know the money situation that is happening in someone's marriage. So for you to tell somebody to do something for your own personal gain, your nickname is Serpent, okay? Because I'm telling you, that's what happened. I know when I was in that aspect of my life and I had quote unquote team members joining me, and when they say, you know what, I have to go speak to my husband about this, I used to encourage them and say, you know what, you do that. And even if your husband have any questions, have your husband come and talk to me. We can all sit down, or I can bring my husband in because he has some knowledge, because my husband was very supportive of the business that I do, whatever and whatnot. But what you should not do is do something for your own personal gain. And see, people do always do stuff for their own personal gain. They lie, talking about God blessing them and all this. And I'm going to tell you this, when you do stuff on a shaky foundation, baby, the whole house is going to fall. So you think that you climbing up and you going up and you going up. When you do shady things, especially off the backs of other people, especially when it can come to potentially breaking up somebody's marriage or their household, or them getting physically or verbally or mentally or emotionally abused for you to get your own personal gain, baby, you think you moving up. Because I'm telling you, the devil is a great imitator of God. You see what I'm saying? So he'll try to make it seem like that you got it going on. But when you don't do things according to God's principles, when you don't do things decently and in order, let me go ahead and talk to the wives too. I'm going to talk to the wives and the husbands, because I can't just get on the serpent, okay? Let me talk to the wives and the husbands. Please do not make important business decisions without speaking to the person in whom you're married to, okay? Don't do that, because that's disrespectful on all kind of levels. Now, if you're married to your spouse and they not really tripping, they not really caring about it or whatever, then okay, you do whatever. But at least have enough respect for your spouse to run it past them first and say, baby, what do you think? Because that can save on a lot of arguments. I'm here to tell y'all, it can save on a lot of arguments. But please, that's why I had to express what have my blood boiling, okay? Don't do something for your own personal gain that can hinder somebody else's marriage or their family. Now, I'm going to have a lot of people in direct sales. You're going to be straight up mad at me, but you're going to be all right, because you know that you was wrong. And you sitting up here and you praying to God and asking God, God, why are you not allowing me to elevate? God, you gave me this to do and this, that, and the other. Yeah, he gave you that to do, but he didn't tell you rob Paul to pay Peter, or whatever the case may be, or have that crab in the barrel mentality to where you don't care what happens to the people that partners up with you in a business sense. You don't care about their marriage. You don't care about their family. Because one of my mentors that I'm under, who is very successful, matter of fact, she was named for Black business entrepreneurs, okay? Black female business entrepreneurs. She's labeled in Forbes, okay? In the top 5 in Forbes magazine. Black women that you should know. And that is one of my mentors that I know and I look up to. But one thing that she never did, or her team never did, is tell us not to consult with our husbands or our wives when it comes to finances. When it comes to your finances, run it by your spouse. Don't just jump and do stuff, because guess what? Not only does that affect you, but that affects your spouse. It affects your family. It affects your household. It affects your income that you're going to have coming out, okay? So make some wise business choices from the jump. If you decide, I encourage you to get business. I encourage you to get those tax write-offs. That's a whole nother video, okay? But please, if you are a serpent, do not encourage people not to speak to their spouse when it comes to the money that's going to be coming out of their house, the time and the effort. Because I'm telling you, you are a serpent, and trust me, I'm not being overboard with this. You're being selfish. So y'all have a blessed day. Thank you for joining us on Yesterday with Marriage Mondays with the Kings. Share this to help save somebody's marriage, because somebody right now is in the midst of making an ignorant decision based off of what somebody else told them with their greedy selves, okay? Have a blessed day. God has given me a whole bunch to talk about. I got it wrote down. So we're going to talk about these things in the day to come. And don't forget about our YouTube channel, where if you miss a show or you miss a video, or you want to share it with somebody who don't have Facebook or whatever, Instagram, Twitter, it's on there. So have a blessed day. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Be a blessing, not a curse. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.